Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you're well. Hey Diana, I'm doing fine. I'm doing absolutely perfect. Woke up this morning, felt great, came in, trades, well, last night trades were going well. This morning trades were going well. Trades were going well all the way through to I went neutral all the way at this just before this live stream. I went flat just before the live stream, so I'm super happy, super happy. Um, Many good trades and feeling a lot better as well. So that's a plus. That's always a good plus. Hey Jordan, how you doing? Hey Red. Hey Christina, how you doing? Hope you're all well. Hope you all have been following some of the trade setups that we have got into, or we've been talking about since yesterday. I'm smiling like mad. It's just many good trade setups that we have been looking at through this week, actually. So I hope you have been enjoying the live streams and the live analysis. All right. A quick risk disclaimer. This live market analysis is sponsored by Max Global Markets, a brokerage firm that is registered with and regulated by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, the MAS. If you'd like to find out more about a Max Global Markets account, you can scan the QR code at the corner of the screen there and check out an account, register for an account and check it out through that QR code. Okay, just a quick reminder also is that Max Global Markets has no control over or influence over the contents of this analysis, which is generated by an independent party. So please remember that the information on this analysis is offered solely for educational and informational reasons and does not constitute financial advice. All right. With that, let's move on. So anyone got into any other good trades? We've been talking about it through the sessions or through the Discord channel. So if you did get into any trades, let me know. Let me know. Okay, I think I forgot to do that. Okay, so if you are new to the session, you've missed out. If you're new to the session, joining us for the first time, you've missed out on a couple of very good trades setups that we were looking at yesterday and even through the week. But better late than never. Good to have you all. If you're new to the session, do help me out. Click that like and subscribe button. Leave a message, say hi, let me know that you're here and where you're joining us from. For all the regulars, good to have you with me. It's like hanging out with friends every day at 3 o'clock now. So good to have all the regulars back on the session or through all these sessions. Again, if any of you have a question, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. All right. Late entry, 80 pips on the pound Kiwi. Fantastic there, Diana. Hey, I just found out. How are you doing? Good morning. Okay, so yeah, just all of you, anyone who got into good trades, the markets were moving very well last night. So if you got into any trades, let me know what you did, what trades you did. What trades you did, what kind of setups you got into, profit or loss. If you got into a loss, put it in as well. We're transparent. Not all trades are going to make money. Some trades are going to lose money. Put it in. We can talk about that as well. Okay, so just to share with you some of the trades that I did. I didn't do the Kiwi dollar, right? I did get into the Aussie. I was telling you all that yesterday as well. So yesterday as the Aussie, right after I was zoom in a little bit, right? We were right there at our session. So it's dropping. Once it broke that 50% level, I got into the Aussie dollar, I think about 6.3, just under that 6.340 level. So just as it was breaking, I did rush into it a little bit, right? And you can see that, yeah, so I was quite happy with that. Although I rushed in, it did bounce back up a little bit, but I continued all through to the downside. This morning came out at profit, take profit there on the Aussie dollar. Okay. Hey Desiree, how you doing? And then I got into the US yen. Look at that. Look at that. I'll tell you about that shortly. But US yen, I literally was sitting there and I was trading the Aussie. I was looking at the charts through the night and I was looking at that and it's coming close. It was at 150, 149.99. It was coming close. It was trying to break 150. Okay? You can see that it tried to break 150, came back down again. I was at 1 a.m. I was sitting there going, is it going to break? Is it going to break? 2 a.m. It looked like it was trying to break. It looked like it was trying to break. But still not a good break above 150 yet. I continued sitting there watching till 3 a.m. when I got in because it closed up above. It did not have a test, it did not have a significant test to the downside. So I got in at, I'm pretty sure at about 150.05, right? 0.055 or something like that. So around that point where I got in and it pushed up, I got out on the yen a little bit earlier. I think about that point there, I thought it was going to retrace a little bit, especially with the indecision. I've posted all of that in the Discord channel. Yeah, so I think I got out at about that point there, 150.45, I think. Then sat there. Next moment, this caught me by surprise, right? So at 2 p.m., well, just not at 2 p.m., even if we look at it on a 15-minute time frame, just the last 15 minutes of the hour, it was at 150.76 and it spiked right down, right back down to 150. And if you remember from yesterday's videos or from videos through the week, I've been telling you that, you know, the yen above 150, it's going to be choppy, right? It's going to be choppy. It's going to go up. It's going to spike down. It's going to go back up. It's going to spike down again. Scroll back to yesterday's videos where I think I drew something like, you know, that kind of pattern. Put it into the chat if you remember me drawing something like that, right? It's because as the dollar yen goes up, above 150, right? Let me just move this to the side. Above 150, we're going to trigger some sell orders. It's going to push back down. It's going to sit at that level as it pushes higher above. What happened here, I believe, was above 150.50, right? So it came to that point. This previous candle was just before it got to 150.50. No, not 50. Got to 150.75, 70 something, and then it triggered those sell orders and we saw the dollar yen spike right down, right? Within, and even if it did this on a 1 minute time frame, you'd see that within the minute, within the 1 minute, it went down a good 88 pips. Right, went down a good 88 pips, and you see that because it was outside of Bollinger, it went straight back up, and now it's sitting in consolidation along this 150.45 level. Okay, so that was my, let me take that away. That was my US yen trade to the upside, right? And this is why I always say take profit, take profit, take profit, because if you held on to that and kept thinking that it's going to go all the way, you have sat there, maybe drag your take profit higher and will spike down, hit your stop loss, and that's it. You have lost money on a winning trade. Okay, so that's why I always update you guys on when I'm getting out of a trade, right? When I'm getting out of a trade. The other trade that I did was on the pound dollar. Right, pound dollar doing that move to the downside. This was something I was very keen on. From, you probably would have heard that from yesterday. So it came down. I just updated the group just as it was bouncing up. So I got out about 60 something pips or 60 pips, right? To the this about, let me see, about there. 65 was about there. So about that point, as I saw it pushing back up, Okay, so got the pound dollar at about 60 something pips as well. So overall, I think it was about a 50 pip on the Aussie dollar, about a 40, I think 40 pips on the yen, so it's about 90 there, and then 60 pips on the pound dollar, so 150 roughly. I can't remember the exact number. So far from yesterday, over 3 trades. Right now, why I closed out on the pound dollar, I think I was telling you guys as well, I was anticipating maybe a bit of a bounce on the pound dollar, which is what um, MMCM, okay, which is what someone is saying on MacMe on TradingView, is saying pound dollar coming to a resistance level. Wonder whether it will reverse or continue down. Yeah. So pound dollar, looks like it might test and then turn back down again, but we'll go into the details shortly. Okay, so those were the 3 trades that I did. Aussie dollar to the downside, now reversing back up a little bit. Dollar yen to that push to the upside. That's misleading, so it did that. Now, what's going to happen? We'll talk about that. I don't think this was an intervention. From the BOJ, and then pound dollar, what's going to happen? We're out of that trade as well. Okay, so now looking at the chart, looking at the news. That was what I got into yesterday. Now looking at the news, quick move lower. Let me see. Yep, we know that doesn't look or smell like intervention. Okay, gains have been picked up past hours. It will make more sense for Tokyo to intervene at 150 if they wanted to, instead of doing it now. Seems like perhaps a run of stops rather than anything from the Japanese officials. Okay, so it's not a intervention. It's more likely a run of the stops. So it's more likely triggering a series of sell orders. Hey Booba, how are you doing? Hey Jimmy. Hey Jamil. Hey Pips Apprentice. No worries, better late than never. How is Powell's speech yesterday? Didn't find any feedback. Okay, so what we had early this morning, 4:35 a.m. GMT +8. I could not stay up for that. Good thing as well is because he was speaking at the Moynihan, I can't pronounce that. That word there, lecture in social science and policy, public policy. Was not expecting a policy comment. And when you look at that, Daily FX team said, Fed Chair Powell does not comment on monetary policy or economic outlook in prepared remarks. So did not do too much. Hope that answers your question there, Riot. Right, so you can watch that, but didn't do too much in terms of moving prices. I already saw markets moving before that, so that didn't do too much. At 6 a.m., Governor Bullock was speaking from the RBA, indicating that CPI was a little higher than we expected, but about where we thought it would come, right? Inflation was pretty much where we thought, but Big Four banks tipped November rate hike. Okay, one more rate hike, or is the RBA done? So the comments, I think we spoke about this yesterday already. The comments again is back towards whether the RBA, because of how CPI for Australia is at 5.6% right now, whether the RBA will be triggered to do another rate hike in November 7th, if I'm not wrong. Right, so that's the question. I think that at this point, the dollar strength, right, that dollar strength that we're seeing pushing to the upside, might be the bigger driver rather than the interest rate decision to come from the RBA until we come closer towards the RBA rate decision. Okay, so I don't think it's something to worry about now. I think it's something that will come towards later on. All right, well, later on as in 2 weeks later. Okay, Jamil said I closed my trade with good profit. 162 pips, very good, Jamil. Which trade was that? Do let me know. Which trade was that? 162. Very well done. I was watching the yen drop and didn't get off the train. Oh, were you on the buy side, Pips Apprentice, on the yen, or were you on the sell side and you didn't get off? Let me know. That news mostly affected to stocks. Yesterday, stocks was all red. Yeah, I don't even think that Chair Powell's speech affected stocks that much. I think it was more because of the dollar pushing to the upside. It was more the markets getting the sentiment that rates in the US are going to be held higher for longer. All that together led to markets, the indices dropping quite significantly overnight, rather than because of that speech. My point of view, right? Buba says wanted to ask this consensus figures. Where do they come from? Where does these forecast numbers come from? They're analyst numbers, right? The analyst forecast numbers. I don't know exactly where they come from, but if you had a Bloomberg forecast, then it'll come from a series of Bloomberg will gather them from banks, analysts, and Bloomberg analysts and put them together and get that kind of numbers. So it's analyst numbers. Okay. Signed up for the course. Any updates? The course is taking a little bit longer than expected, but I will keep you updated as it develops. So just stay tuned. Jamil was on the pound dollar. Very nice. I think you caught that whole move down. I broke it up into 2 trades. You caught 1 big trade. So very good. Suleiman, no, we're going to do Kiwi, Aussie, Yen, then Pound. I'm not going to skip. I'm not going to jump process. Just watching no trade. Okay. So now looking at the what course are we talking about here? This one. Diana, if you can check it out, go to my website and it should pop up. There you go. All right, I might have to change that date, but we will see. So if you want to get onto the trading course that I'm just about to launch, email, name, sign up, or that's all you have to do. All right. Yeah. Okay. So now back to I get distracted. I do all kinds of things. Back to the focus is we've done that. 2 news. At 8:15 p.m. today, GMT +8, we do have the ECB, the Eurozone, the ECB with their main refinancing rate. Right, with their main refinancing rate, which is the interest rate decision, 4.5%, looking to stay at 4.5, not expecting a change. Together with the monetary policy statement, advanced GDP to come from the US, it was 2.4, revised down to 2.1, expected 4.5, and then the ECB press conference at 8:45. Okay, typically I would say that we should do a live trading session at 8:15 for this news event, but I don't think it'd be a major price mover. In fact, I think that you might be able to plan for this quite easily. It's not something that you might want to do during the news, but maybe before the news, a bit of a speculative trade. I've got 150 pips in the bank already, so I'm happy to do that. Or something to do after, so I'll prime you for that. Advanced GDP looking like it might show some good numbers, push the dollar up further. Press conference is going to be interesting. Okay, so you see that not a lot of other news apart from the ECB. So main thing I'm looking at for today is dollar strength is looking to continue. Dollar yen looking for that maybe continued upside. And then the ECB with the euro. The euro with the ECB's interest rate decision is going to see some volatility. Okay, and then tomorrow with the core PCE price index. Last night we had the Bank of Canada as well keeping rates at 5%, and you see that on release of the news at 10 we saw a push to the upside on the CAD, showing you the overall direction of where it was heading towards within that hour. It pushed up, retraced a little bit, and continued back up again. Okay, so no big surprises there. And I expect something like this. All right, so if you look at the USCAD, right, on release of the news, push up, retrace, and then continue up. Why it retraced? Because it was way outside, so it came back in and then pushed up again. I expect something very similar for the Canadian dollar. I expect something very similar for the Canadian dollar. Someone posted something on TradingView but deleted it. You can post it back up again. I just missed that comment. Yeah, so I did notice someone posted something but it got deleted. So post it up again if you can. Dollar strength does seem to be slightly dwindling. I think it's retracing before maybe pushing up again. Okay, so that's the news. That's what we're looking out for. Now looking at the charts. Today being the 26th of October. Okay, and you see that the dollar did push up above 106.40, got above 106.40 and then pushed up towards 106.70. It got there by early this morning. Right now sitting along 106, between 106.70, just under 106.80. Okay, and that's also because we have that 61.8 retracement level there. So now that that's broken, we will take that away. Is pound dollar good for a long position? You gotta wait. We'll get to that shortly. Okay, and then now looking at the dollar, what I'm anticipating is for a continuation to the upside, but like McNamee is saying, that we might see, is it retracing? Is it getting a little bit weaker on the dollar? I see it retracing, right? I see it retracing. Take that away. Back down to test this level before pushing back up again. I don't see any big reason why the dollar should weaken that much. I don't see why it should weaken that much. Hey matey, good morning. Today USD was the best way. Is just won't trade this pair, maybe for all pairs. What do you think? It's just won't trade this pair. Okay, I'll get to that shortly. Dollar yen, dollar index. That doesn't work. Nope. I'm looking at this, I'm wondering, what I'm thinking is there any reason why it should come down to this point before pushing back up? Right? And not the only, but one of the main reasons why I think that if the dollar would retrace back down would be because of maybe some major strength to come on the euro later, right? So if the euro does gain massive strength later, then that could push the dollar index lower. But what I think is more likely to happen is dollar index going to sit along this area and then push towards 107.2025. Right, it's going to retrace a little bit. It's going to retrace. It's going to consolidate along this resistance turned support level. So I think that dollar index is likely to consolidate along 106.70 before pushing higher to 107.25. Hesitated a little bit there because I'm just suddenly thinking that that's a big move, but I think that that's reasonable. Okay, so dollar index still looking for that upward push, consolidate along 106.70, which is in this area, before pushing higher to 107.25. I would change the view if it breaks below 23 and 38. So if the dollar goes in between this range, that's where I start thinking that possibly there might, dollar might start to weaken further. But if it just comes back down even to this point, I'm not going to panic too much. If it comes into this area here, then I'll start thinking maybe dollar is going to weaken. Okay, but overall for now, still looking at the upside push. Then, with that said, we'll look at the Kiwi dollar. Okay, so take that one away. Actually, I don't have to take that away because it's likely to stay the same. Is because I like what's happening here on the Kiwi dollar. Very strong push on the dollar index, yes. All right, I like what's happening here on the Kiwi because it's come up, it's tested 23, it's hesitated a little bit, but we are seeing the dollar retrace or consolidate there a little bit. So I would like to see this test and then reject. Okay, I would like to see it test and reject that 0.581, almost 10 level. That would be very nice, which would mean that we could be looking for 5.8. It will be same as yesterday's view. Tight stop, no more than 20 pips. Take profit down to 50, and that would be it. And that's what we have, 20 to 50. Same thing, but this time looking for that retrace. So yesterday we were looking for a continuation to the downside, break support and head lower. Now we're looking for a retracement to test resistance, reject, test, reject, resistance, and turn back down. Okay? So that's what we're looking for on the Kiwi dollar. Aussie dollar, very similar. Okay, we've done that one on the Aussie. We take those away. That double top worked like a charm. Take all that away. But let's consider the scenario that I want to say I was going to say let's consider the scenario that the dollar pushes right back down. It seems based on the current price action, based on what I'm seeing right now, it seems very unlikely. Okay, because I was thinking, hey, what if the dollar weakens all the way back down? Then can we look to buy above 0.63, 25 pip stop loss, 90 pip take profit all the way back up? That would be fantastic. But that would mean that the dollar would have to go from here down to here, which at the way it's currently moving, I don't think so. Okay, so you can have that as a potential, but it looks like dollar strength. Since we're planning for that dollar strength scenario, tested 23, back up, similar to the Kiwi. 6280, 20 to 40 to the downside. That's a tight one. You can't even go lower. We could even go lower on the Aussie, but that was last year. So last year's low, we could revisit that. I think that you could have it down to 100 pips to the downside, and then you consider 40. I would put it there first, and then we can move that down as it happens. So 6280, 20 to 40, but there's going to be big potential there. 6280, stop loss 20 pips, take profit 40 pips, but we have a big potential. Too much momentum in the dollar, maybe. Possibly. Let's see. Yeah, it's a bit overbought. Good morning, OJ Meds. It is a little bit overbought. It could retrace, but I think that, yeah, and that's why I think that instead of thinking that it could retrace, I think it could consolidate there a little bit before pushing back up. Right? You see that at this point, even as it's in the overbought region, it's still continue to push slightly higher again. So I'm considering that. Not ruling out the chance that it might retrace all the way, but I think that it's still likely to push up. Okay. I'm just wondering whether it's possible to go a little bit earlier on the Aussie. I think it's going up. It's going to test this. Can we look to sell? Oops. Can we look to sell here? I wouldn't. Okay, I'll stick to that plan. 6280, 40 pips, 20 pips. There will be opportunities that you could get in a little bit earlier, but for the purpose of this analysis, I wouldn't. Okay, I have found Blissful Direct says I found using EMA in intraday is not a good idea. The second, it's mostly price action, support, resistance, and Fibonacci. You can use EMA. It does work. Basic guess you would just have to be fine tune or figure out what time period, how many periods of EMA works better for the intraday. There is a specific number, but I'm not going to tell you that. But yeah, there might be something to look out for. Okay, US yen, despite that, Jordan says 20 EMA, maybe 20, could be something else, but I think 20 is reasonable. That spike down, despite that spike down, the dollar index, the US yen is still pushing to the upside. That one's done, we'll take that away. Right now at 150.59, if you are looking to buy it up, this I would say is a little bit overextended. I don't like it because it's right in the middle with 150, 150, 150 up there. That's pushing up. The easier answer would be that you could buy it up, but I don't like it in terms of a stop loss. What you could do on the US yen is to let it close. Oops, wrong one. Let it close, and then we could see it push up. Yeah. Okay. So back to this, we're looking at, and I don't think this is a set and forget. Okay, the US yen at this point is not a set and forget. It's something that you want to get into, but you want to manage it. 150.70 will give you a bit of space. You can take profit at 151, 30 pips, 30 pips. I would even go tighter on this to be 20. Okay, once the dollar yen goes in a trending scenario, the drawdowns are a little bit lower. Right, once it gets into that trending scenario, you see very low drawdowns. So I would say that 150.70 I would try for that. I'll try for 150.50, which is up here. And then I would keep my stop loss quite tight at 20 pips. That's what I'll try and do. It's retracing a little bit now, so it's not ready. And in fact, you might even be looking at 150.80 to be absolutely safer, right? And then my stop loss would be just at that 150, below 150.60, which is 20 pips. So I'll rather do that. Okay, I think this would be a slightly safer approach on the US yen. And okay, well, let me put this one in first. 150.80, stop loss 20, take profit almost 70, so let's say 60. It's actually 70. 70. Okay, so we're looking at that back up towards the one level there. Okay, I'm happy with that. At this point, one thing to consider, don't forget the possibility of an intervention. All right, so remember we were talking about the intervention so many times before. We had it down at 149.85, and then I had a 30 pip stop loss, and I was looking for it to do that 100 and something pips to the downside. Right, what you can be looking out for here as well now is quite something similar. I don't think right now. I think if it breaches towards 151, Once it goes past 151, so it does that. If it does that, right, we might see an intervention which will cause it to spike down. That's one scenario. So then you will lose this trade, but you'll make money on this trade. Or you'll go up to 151.51, 50, and then drop back down again. So I would start thinking of a potential order at once it goes past 151. Could you be looking at 150.80, stop loss 30 pips, take profit, go all the way down to 150. There'll be a 1:5 to the downside. So it's something to watch out for on the US yen as well. Okay, this is a consideration of an intervention here. I don't think it'll happen at 151. Might wait for a little bit more, but just have it in. I could just have it in place as a preparation. Then on to the pound dollar. Suleiman has been asking many times. On the pound dollar, we see it, or we made money on it dropping. And then now it's pushing back up to test that support turned resistance. I want to see that test and reject. So we're still seeing the dollar sitting right across, retracing a little bit. So I don't think it's a good position for a long. Yeah, I don't think it's a good position for a long on the pound dollar just because of the way it's been dropping, because of the way the dollar has been pushing, unless the dollar drops below this level, right? Unless it comes down below that 106.30, then we'll start thinking of a long. But if not, then I'll be looking for the pound dollar to test and push back down. Trying to see whether I can keep my roll going on pound dollar, right? We've done so well on the pound dollar. Below 1.21. Stop loss 20 pips. Take profit 80 pips to the downside. Thinking whether it could go a little bit higher and do that. So maybe it would test that 23.6 level. I don't think it'll go that much, but maybe it'll test 23.6, reject, and turn back down. So 1.2090, 1.2090. No, below 1.21. So anywhere below 1.21, 20 pip stop, 80 pip take. So 1.21, stop loss 20, take profit 80. It blasts through our hesitation level before that, no issue, right? So we're looking for that on the pound dollar. If it doesn't retrace as much as we expect, then you'd be looking to sell down below 1.2070. In this case, it will be a smaller take profit for sure, right? 20 to 50 pips. So you could be looking at that or that if it doesn't retrace as much. Okay, then on to the euro dollar. Right, euro dollar did not bounce off. That trade did not trigger. Take that away. It did break through. We did see that very ugly head and shoulder pattern with a neckline and a trend line all broken. It looks like we're going to see further downside on the euro dollar. We do have a level about there. Take that one away for now. I would say that if it comes down, especially tonight, if there is no change, it stays at 4.5%. No big bullish, hawkish comments, right? On hold, not on pause, but still with a hawkish bias. It can only be a pause. It can only be a pause. On hold, not a pause. It's like, come on. Okay. So I think they're going to pause at 4.5 or hold at 4.5. With the way it's been pushing, I think that it comes down to the comments, which, based on numbers, haven't been great. So I do think that we might see some downside. And in fact, this might be a scenario where you could look at this 1.0520, take profit 70 pips, stop loss 20 pips. If it sits there and it breaks to the downside, right? And what if it doesn't do that, but instead it bounces up 1.05? No, you have it above this level. 1.0580, stop loss 20 pips, take profit 50 pips, 55 pips to the upside. You could end up preparing for the news in advance with those two orders. With those two orders could help you prepare for the news. I don't think it'll be one of those long extended moves. If suddenly out of the blue, from nowhere, the ECB comes out and sounds hawkish, then we'll see that push up. But I think the most likely scenario is that on release of the news, right? Before the news and on release of the news. So I'll be looking for that. 1.0520 stop loss, 20 take profit, 70. Sell 1.0570, stop loss 20, take profit 70. Good. All right. Jamil says, I think we're waiting a retest. A retest is clear downtrend. Yep. Yeah, see the dollar is retracing a little. Well, it's consolidating. It's sitting right across. Could retrace before wanting to see that push back up, and that's why we see the dollar push the euro dollar looking like it might retrace a little bit before pushing back down. Check this. 23 is right there, so it might just come up, test, and push down. You guys probably get the sense I don't like sitting around waiting for retracements. So we'll see how it goes. That US Swiss franc, we say do nothing, look for reaction at 0.9. And it's done exactly that. It's climbed up to 0.9, well, almost 0.9. And we're waiting for the reaction. What we're looking out for, this is a 50% level as well. So consideration is that, hey, could it retrace back down? Right? Dollars, the Swiss franc or the dollar Swiss is influenced by the dollar index, right? Directionally, by the dollar index. And if you looked at that, we might actually see there are a lot of signs pointing towards the idea that the dollar could retrace quite significantly or correct. So we'll see how that develops. If this rejects the resistance, then you could be looking at 8975, stop loss 20, take profit 80 to the downside. No, too near. 8970, 25 to 75. We put that as a speculative. I don't think that it's going to. That depends on how the dollar index moves, but we'll see how that works. So this will be a rejection of 0.9. So we're looking to sell at 0.8975, stop loss 25, take profit 75. Okay. In your opinion, how is the relationship between the dollar in 10-year and the DXY? Is there a limit to, hang on, is there a limit to the US 10-year? Technically no limit. Technically no limit on the 10-year yield, but they do want to keep it at a cap. How's the relationship? There's many factors to it. Let me just, I know if I bring up that, it will, hang on. We've done that study before. I'm pretty sure we've done. What am I doing? Yeah, let me get back to you on that. I can't find it now. I'm just not in the right mind. Let me get back to you on that, maybe. But there is a relationship. There is a relationship between the 10-year and the DXY. I don't think there is not really a limit on it, but there is. They do try and affect it a little bit. Okay, sorry, I'm just thinking about the dollar index and the way it's moving right now. But yeah, I'll get back to you on the 10-year yield. We've done a study on that. I'll find that study. I've done a study on that as well. Then onto the USCAD. It's pushed up. It's retracing right now. I think someone else got onto the USCAD. I think it was Riad who got onto the USCAD. Now retracing to possibly, I just don't like how everything is retracing down towards this point before pushing back up on dollar strength scenario. That makes sense. So what you could be looking for is a retracement down towards 23.6. Look to buy it up. So 1.3790. Stop loss 15. Take profit 50 pips to the upside. There we have it. 1.3790. 790, stop loss 15, take profit 50. Okay. Then on to gold. right? We were thinking that could it break that level and hit down because of that we were anticipating already yesterday dollar strength. But what you notice interestingly here is that with that dollar strength, we're still seeing gold push to the upside. This should be one of the indicators of a shift towards reserve, right? Dollar strength, look at that, pushing up. We should be seeing this push down, but it's still pushing to the upside. So it's showing that continual push. At this point now, needs to break above 1992. I think that there's a lot of things coming up. So if you check, even if you took that previous peak there at 1997, that's too narrow. I don't see it coming all the way up. All right, we have a big level here, but I don't see that happening. I think maybe about there. So if it breaks above 1992, then you have 2002, which is coming quite soon. Okay, so gold seems to be a shift towards reserve. Above 1992 could reach 202. Alrighty, that's it. It felt like a long time, but we're still within the hour, so good, good. I'm still watching the dollar on this. Looks like it's going to retrace a little bit more than I would like, but we'll keep a watch on that. Okay. Hey, Darren Ross, how you doing? Thanks, D-Train. Thanks, Goju. So again, if you can help me out before you leave, do help me click that little rocket ship button on TradingView. And if you haven't already, click that thumbs up button on YouTube and subscribe. The link is there again for you to join the course and also the Discord channel. Oops. Yeah, well, right, the Discord channel is there. So I look forward to seeing you all on Discord. And if not, I'll see you tomorrow. It is Friday tomorrow. So we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Take care now. Bye-bye.